Y'all, grab your popcorn because the internet is literally on fire right now. What started as a glamorous night for Nicki Minaj has turned into a full-blown nightmare, and the Barbs can't believe what they're hearing. Word on the street is that Nicki Minaj, yes, the queen of rap herself, just got played. Not by haters, not by the industry, but by her own people. That's right, insiders are saying someone from inside her trusted circle just robbed her blind. And the number floating around? $25,000 gone just like that. And baby, the gag is, Nicki's got the receipts. Now, before you roll your eyes and say, this can't be real, let me tell you, the drama runs deeper than you think. Sources close to the Pink Friday rapper are whispering about betrayal, secret bank transfers, and a confrontation that allegedly left everyone shaking. Fans are shocked, her team is scrambling, and Nicki, she's done playing nice. So how did one of the most powerful women in music get robbed by the very people she feeds? Who's lying, who's crying, and who's about to get cut off for good? Stay tuned because what went down behind closed doors might just be the biggest betrayal of Nicki's career. It all started on what was supposed to be a regular day in Nicki Minaj's world. Cameras flashing, stylists buzzing around, a team preparing for another massive rollout for her new single. Everything was going smooth. Just another queen moment, until one quiet morning when something small, almost invisible, triggered the chaos that would shake her inner circle to its core. Nicki was reviewing her accounts, something she rarely did personally, when she noticed a charge. It wasn't massive, just suspicious enough to make her pause. $25,000 missing. Not from a label expense, not from a tour invoice, but straight from her personal business account. She blinked, scrolled again, and then again. The number didn't move. $25,000 gone. She leaned back in her chair, her nails tapping against the glass table. She had trusted her team with everything. These weren't just co-workers. These were people she called family. Her assistant, her stylist, her day one manager, even her cousin who'd started helping with errands. But somewhere among them, someone had crossed a line. Nicki took a deep breath, then hit record on her phone. "You see this right here?" she whispered. "Somebody in my circle playing with my money. And I promise you, when I find out who it is, it's done." The tone in her voice wasn't anger, it was betrayal. The kind that comes when loyalty turns into greed. Later that day, she called a private meeting at her home. No managers, no label reps, just the tight crew she trusted most. The air was thick before she even entered the room. Everyone had heard the rumors already. Someone had taken from Nicki. And everyone was trying to act innocent. "All right," she said, walking in wearing her pink hoodie and black shades, even though they were indoors. "So which one of y'all thought it was cute to mess with my account?" Silence. Nobody moved. Her stylist, Trina, glanced at the assistant. The assistant looked at the floor. Her cousin Jamal fidgeted with his phone. Nicki sat down slowly, crossing her legs. "Y'all really gonna sit here and act like nothing happened?" She continued. "$25,000 don't just disappear. It came from somewhere, and it sure as hell wasn't me." Her manager, Ryan, finally spoke. "Nick, let's not jump to conclusions. Maybe it was a bank error. We can get your accountant to—" "Ryan, stop." Nicki's voice cut through him like a knife. "You think I don't know what a withdrawal looks like? You think the bank just woke up and said, let's take $25K from Annika Tanya Miraj's account? Come on!" Trina shifted in her seat. "Girl, you know we'd never do something like that. We've been with you through everything." Nicki stared straight at her. "Exactly. That's why this hurts. Because I know it's somebody who's been here, smiling in my face, eating my food, taking pictures like everything's all love. But behind my back, stealing." The tension in the room was unbearable. Someone's phone buzzed, but nobody dared to pick it up. Later that night, Nicki posted a cryptic message on her Instagram story. "Never let snakes sleep in your palace." The Barbs went into full detective mode. Within minutes, fans were tweeting theories, screenshots, and names. "I bet it's the assistant," one user wrote. Another posted a photo of Nicki's cousin Jamal with the caption, "Look at his face. He guilty." The whole internet became obsessed with finding the thief. Meanwhile, Nicki wasn't done. She went through every transaction, every Cash App, every Zelle receipt. And that's when she found it, a payment sent to an unknown name, but the phone number attached looked familiar. Too familiar. She checked her contacts and froze. It was Trina's boyfriend. The next morning, she called Trina again. "Come to the house," she said, her voice steady but cold. When Trina arrived, Nicki wasted no time. She placed her phone on the table, screen facing up with the transaction open. You want to explain this? Trina looked, then looked away. Nicki, that's not what you think. It's exactly what I think, Nicki replied. You let your man use my card? $25,000, Trina. Are you serious? He said it was for a business deal. He said he'd pay it back. I didn't know it was your account, I swear. So he magically got access to my business card without you knowing. Trina, stop lying to me. You my girl, but don't play dumb. The assistant, who had been quietly watching from the corner, muttered under her breath. Knew it, Trina snapped. Don't start with me, Maya. You always got something to say, but you're the one who can't even keep track of receipts half the time. Nicki stood up, her patience gone. Both of y'all stop. This is not the time for y'all little catfights. This is my money, my trust, my name. The room went silent again. Nicki looked at Trina for a long moment, her expression unreadable. Get him on the phone, she finally said. Trina hesitated, then dialed. After a few rings, a man's voice answered. Yo, babe, what's up? Nicki snatched the phone. This ain't your babe. It's Nicki. You got exactly 30 seconds to tell me why my money ended up in your account before I make some calls you won't like. The line went dead. Trina gasped. He hung up? Nicki slowly placed the phone down. He knows he's caught. Word spread fast. Within hours, blogs were reporting that Nicki had been betrayed by a close friend. Hashtags started trending. Dr. Betraying the Queen. Dr. Nicki has receipts. Who's the snake? Fans flooded Trina's Instagram with comments like, how could you do her like that? And we believed in you. Trina disabled her comments within minutes, but behind the scenes, things were getting worse. Trina's boyfriend disappeared, his phone off, his socials wiped. Nicki's team started panicking. If he's gone with the money, Ryan said, we might need to get legal involved. Nicki wasn't having it. Nah, I'm handling this my way. That night, Nicki posted again. No captions, just a photo of her holding a folder marked proof. It broke the internet. Fans flooded Twitter spaces, YouTube gossip channels went live, and everyone waited for her next move. But Nicki didn't drop receipts right away. She let the suspense build. Her silence became the story. Paparazzi caught her leaving her house looking furious, talking on her phone, muttering, I can't believe this. People speculated that Trina had confessed, that more money was missing, that this was bigger than anyone thought, and they weren't wrong. Because while everyone was focused on Trina, someone else was quietly covering their own tracks. Maya, the assistant who had been throwing shade, wasn't as innocent as she seemed. While Nicki was confronting Trina, Maya had been deleting messages, clearing emails, and trying to make sure her name stayed clean. Because what Nicki didn't know yet was that Maya had approved those payments weeks ago, thinking nobody would notice. And just as Nicki was starting to calm down, another transaction alert hit her phone. This time, it wasn't Trina's boyfriend. It was Maya's email address linked to a management expense. Nicki stared at the screen in disbelief. Oh, this ain't over, she whispered. This just getting started, and that's where the real chaos began. Nicki couldn't believe what she was seeing. It felt like the ground had shifted under her feet. She had just exposed one snake in her circle, but now it seemed there was another one slithering right next to her. Maya, her assistant, the one who always acted loyal, the one who'd been with her through long nights in the studio, through tours, through tears, had her name linked to another missing payment. The betrayal was so heavy it made Nicki's chest tighten. She paced across her living room, holding her phone, scrolling through statements again and again. There it was, a charge labeled management expense that she never approved. $25,000 might have been gone, but now another $5,000 had disappeared too. And the email linked to the transfer? Maya's. Nicki took a deep breath and called Ryan, her manager. I need you at the house, now, and bring Maya with you. We're settling this tonight. An hour later, Ryan and Maya arrived. Maya looked nervous, her eyes darting around, pretending not to know why she was there. Nicki sat on the couch, calm but with that quiet anger that everyone around her feared. Maya, Nicki started, tell me why your email is showing up on my payment logs. Maya blinked, pretending confusion. What, my email? I don't know, maybe it's a mistake. I use your account sometimes when I'm booking stuff. Maybe it was that? Nicki raised an eyebrow. Booking what exactly? Maya hesitated. It was for a photo shoot deposit, I think, Ryan interjected. That doesn't make sense. We don't pay deposits from that account. You know the procedure. Maya's voice cracked a little. Maybe it autofilled my email. It happens. Nicki leaned forward, resting her elbows on her knees. Maya, you've been with me long enough to know I don't play with money. I've trusted you. You handle my calendar, my travel, my outfits. But my bank account? Nah, that's not in your lane. Maya stayed quiet, her hands trembling slightly. Nicki could feel her pulse racing. She wasn't angry anymore. She was disappointed. Do you know what it means when I call somebody family? Nicki asked softly. It means I'll ride for you. I'll defend you. I'll make sure you eat. But you steal from me? You're done. Maya's eyes filled with tears. Nicki, I swear I didn't take anything. Please don't think that. Maybe someone hacked it, or maybe Trina's boyfriend. Nicki cut her off. Nah, don't try to flip it on him. I already found where his money went. And now I see your name, your email. This can't be no coincidence. There was silence for a few seconds. Then Maya's phone buzzed on the table. Nicki glanced at the screen. A message preview popped up. Delete everything. She's on to us. Nicki's face went blank. She reached for the phone slowly, her eyes never leaving Maya's. Who's that? Nicki asked, her tone icy. Maya froze. It's nobody. Ryan grabbed the phone, reading the message aloud. Delete everything. She's on to us. He looked at Nicki. This is bad. Nicki stood up, pacing again. So there's more than one person. Oh, y'all playing with fire now. Maya tried to speak, but her voice cracked. Nicki, please, it's not what you think. I didn't know he was gonna... Nicki turned around sharply. He who? Maya covered her mouth, realizing she'd said too much. Nicki stepped closer. You better start talking, Maya. Right now. After a long pause, Maya whispered. It was Ryan. The room fell silent. Even the air felt heavy. Ryan looked stunned. What? You better stop lying right now. He yelled. Maya shook her head frantically. He told me to do it. He said it was a temporary transfer, that he'd move the money back before you noticed. He said you'd never check because you trusted him. Nicki turned slowly to face Ryan. Is that true? Ryan looked desperate. Nick, come on. You really gonna believe her over me? I've been managing you for years. I've gotten you deals. I've built this whole brand with you. And you think I'd steal from you? But Nicki wasn't listening anymore. She was putting the pieces together. The missing $25,000, the new transaction, the cryptic text. She realized this wasn't just a random theft. It was a setup. And it went higher than she thought. Both of y'all need to get out of my house, she said quietly. Right now, Maya started crying, pleading. Nicki, please don't do this. I'll tell you everything. Just don't kick me out. But Nicki had already turned away. She didn't want to hear another word. As they left, Nicki sat down again, her mind racing. She felt betrayed on every level. These were the people she had brought into her world, trusted with her privacy, her safety, her empire. And they played her like she wouldn't notice. Later that night, she called her security chief, a man named Devin, who had been with her since her pink print days. Devin, I need you to do something for me, she said. Check Ryan's recent activity. I want to know who he's been talking to, where he's been sending money, everything. Devin didn't ask questions. I got you, boss, he said. For the next few days, things got quiet. Nicki didn't post, didn't tweet, didn't even appear in public. The Barbs were losing their minds. Everyone wanted to know what was going on. Theories were flying. Some fans believed it was a publicity stunt. Others said it was a family betrayal. But the truth was worse than any rumor. Devin came back with information that made Nicki's stomach drop. Ryan had been funneling small amounts of money through her accounts for months. Nothing too big to get noticed, but enough to add up. He'd been using a fake business name, Queen Logistics LLC, to disguise it. And guess who was listed as the co-owner? Maya. Nicki slammed her fist against the table. They played me for months, she whispered. Months. The next day, she confronted Ryan again, but this time she wasn't alone. Devin was there, standing by the door like a wall of muscle. Ryan walked in, pretending nothing was wrong. What's this about, Nick? He asked. What's wrong? What's this about, Nick? He asked. Nicki didn't answer. She just slid a stack of papers across the table. They were printouts from Devin's investigation. Ryan's smile disappeared as soon as he saw them. Where'd you get this? He asked. Nicki smirked. You forget who you're dealing with. I'm Nicki Minaj. I got people everywhere. Nick, it's not what it looks like, he stammered. Save it, she interrupted. You've been stealing from me, lying to me, using my name to build your own company? You really thought I wouldn't find out? Ryan started pacing. It wasn't like that. I was gonna pay it back. You were so busy, Don't you dare blame me for this, Nicki said, her voice rising. You took advantage of my trust. You and Maya both. And for what? Some extra cash? Ryan's tone turned desperate. It wasn't just about money, Nick. You treat everyone like they're disposable. We built this empire with you, but you act like it's only you that matters. Nicki laughed bitterly. So stealing from me was your way of getting attention? You could have just quit. Ryan sighed, rubbing his face. You don't understand. This industry doesn't care about loyalty. I did what I had to do. Nicki's eyes narrowed. Nah, you did what you wanted to do. And now you're gonna deal with what comes next. Devin stepped forward. You heard the lady. Time to go. Ryan backed away slowly, realizing he was finished. As he left, he muttered under his breath, This ain't over, Nick. Nicki exhaled deeply, feeling the weight of everything crash down. Trina's boyfriend, Maya, now Ryan. It seemed everyone around her had turned against her. She walked to her window, looking out at the city lights, wondering how fame could bring so much pain. But deep down, she knew this wasn't the end. Because if Ryan said this ain't over, that meant there was something bigger still hidden in the shadows. Something she hadn't uncovered yet. And as her phone buzzed again with a new message from an unknown number that simply read, You're looking in the wrong place, Nicki realized. The storm was far from over. Nicki stared at her phone for a long moment, the message glowing back at her like a warning. You're looking in the wrong place. It didn't make sense. She had already caught Trina's boyfriend, exposed Maya, and kicked Ryan out. Who else could there possibly be? Who else would even have access to her accounts, her passwords, her life? But something about that text sent a chill down her spine. She knew that whoever sent it wasn't bluffing. They knew something she didn't. She called Devin right away. Trace this number, she said. I just got another message. I don't care how you do it. I need to know who's behind this. Devin promised to handle it immediately. Nicki hung up, pacing the room. Her mansion suddenly felt less like home and more like a trap. She started thinking about every person she'd trusted in the last year. Her accountant, her publicist, even her own family members. Could one of them have something to do with it? Later that night, Nicki's mother called her. Annika, I've been seeing things online. What's happening, baby? Are you all right? Nicki tried to sound calm, but her voice cracked a little. I'm fine, Ma. Just dealing with some disloyal people. I told you years ago, not everyone smiling at you loves you, her mother said softly. Money changes people. Fame changes them even more, Nicki sighed. Yeah, I guess I had to learn that the hard way. As soon as she hung up, Devin texted her back. Found something. The number is registered to a prepaid SIM. But guess what? It was purchased with your own business card 3 weeks ago. Nicki froze. What? She texted back. And the receipt was signed by someone named Jamal, her cousin. Her own blood. Nicki's heart sank. Jamal had been helping her for years. He was the one she kept around to remind her of home, of family, of where she came from. He ran errands, handled packages, kept things quiet. She'd always trusted him. But now it was starting to make sense. He was around during every incident. He had access to her office, her files, even her credit cards for small purchases. She felt sick. Betrayal from a stranger was one thing, but from family, that cut deep. The next day, Nicki showed up at her studio unannounced, knowing Jamal would be there setting up equipment for her next recording session. He smiled when he saw her. Yo, cuz, you good? Nicki didn't smile back. She walked straight toward him, holding her phone out. Explain this, Jamal frowned. What's that? A text from a number you bought. Using my card. You want to tell me what's going on before I lose my mind? His expression changed instantly. Gone was the casual grin. Now he looked cornered. Nicki, it's not what you think. That's what they all say, she muttered. He rubbed the back of his neck, avoiding her eyes. I wasn't trying to hurt you, I swear. I was trying to protect you. Nicki's voice rose. Protect me? By stealing my money? By sending me cryptic messages like you in some kind of movie? You don't get it, he said, stepping closer. Ryan wasn't working alone. There's someone else. Someone bigger. They told him what to do. They told all of us. I tried to warn you without getting myself in trouble. Nicki blinked in disbelief. Who's behind this? Jamal hesitated. Someone from your label. The room went quiet. Nicki shook her head slowly. That's impossible. My label wouldn't do something like that. Jamal's voice dropped to a whisper. Think about it, Nick. You've been fighting them for control over your masters, right? You've been talking about going independent. They can't let that happen. They needed to make you look unstable, like you can't even control your own people. That way, they keep you locked in. Nicki felt her stomach twist. It made sense, but it was too much to take in. She stared at her cousin, trying to read his face. "And you went along with it?" He looked down. "They said if I didn't help, they'd ruin me. They paid me to move some money around, make it look like small internal thefts. I didn't think it'd blow up like this." Nicki's eyes welled up. "You could have come to me. I would have protected you." "I know," he whispered. "I messed up. I'm sorry." Nicki turned away, tears sliding down her cheek. "You didn't just mess up, Jamal. You betrayed me." The next thing Nicki did was call Devin again. "Get me everything you can on the label. Emails, transfers, anything suspicious. If they behind this, I'm exposing them all. Things suspicious. If they behind this, I'm exposing them all." Over the next few days, Devin dug deep. What he found made Nicki's blood boil. There were multiple payments made from her accounts to shell companies connected to people within her label's finance department. Every transaction had been authorized using her digital signature, forged, of course. It was an inside job. Nicki went live on Instagram that night. The live started with complete silence. Then she spoke slowly, deliberately. "To everyone watching, I've been quiet for too long. People been stealing from me, lying to me, trying to make me look crazy. And guess what? I got the receipts. Literally." Within seconds, over 100,000 fans joined. Comment after comment flooded the chat. "What happened, Queen? Who did it? Spill the tea." Nicki continued, "When you try to move on your own and take control of your career, some people don't like that. They want to see you fail. They use people around you, people you trust, to set you up. But I promise you, I'm not going down without a fight." She didn't name names, but she didn't have to. Everyone watching could feel the rage behind her words. She ended the live by holding up a folder full of documents. "They thought they could play me. They forgot who I am." The internet exploded. Bloggers went wild, fans started digging, and suddenly the hashtag #JordanNickiHasReceipts was trending again. Fans began linking executives to her old disputes, pulling up interviews, financial statements, and everything they could find. A few days later, Nicki received another message from the same unknown number. This time it said, "You weren't supposed to find out this soon." She sent a reply. Too late. That night, she was home when she heard something outside, a car idling near her gate. She peeked through the blinds. A black SUV, tinted windows, parked for nearly 10 minutes. She told Devin, who immediately called the security team. By the time they got there, the SUV was gone, but a small envelope was left near her mailbox. Inside, there was a single USB drive and a note that read, "Listen before you go public." Nicki didn't know whether to open it or throw it away, but curiosity got the best of her. She plugged it into her laptop, and an audio recording started playing. It was Ryan's voice. "Yeah, she won't see it coming," he said. "Once the money disappears and the news leaks, they'll have a reason to put her under financial review. She'll lose control of her masters. By the time she realizes what's going on, it'll be too late." Nicki's jaw dropped. She sat frozen, her heart pounding. This wasn't just betrayal. This was sabotage at the highest level. They wanted to destroy her reputation, her empire, her legacy. She called Devin immediately. "We're taking this to court," she said. "And when this comes out, nobody in this industry gonna look at me the same again. They'll know the truth." Devin agreed, but he warned her. "You know they're gonna fight dirty. They're powerful people." Nicki smirked through her tears. "So am I." But even as she said it, she couldn't shake the feeling that this war was only beginning. Because if Ryan was on that tape and the label was involved, someone else had been recording him. And that meant there was still another player in the game. Someone in the shadows, watching everything unfold, pulling strings from behind the scenes. Nicki stared out at the city skyline from her balcony that night. "Whoever you are," she whispered, "I'm coming for you next." And deep down, she knew she meant every word. The night air outside Nicki's mansion was cold, heavier than usual, as if the city itself knew something was coming. She couldn't sleep. The USB recording kept replaying in her mind, Ryan's voice echoing over and over. She won't see it coming. It haunted her. The more she thought about it, the more she realized this wasn't just about money. It was about power. They wanted to break her spirit, make her doubt herself, and control her career from the inside out. The next morning, Devin arrived with new information. "You were right," he said. The label's financial officer was communicating directly with Ryan. Emails, calls, even private meetings. But here's where it gets crazy. Those meetings were all arranged through someone using your personal assistant login. Nicki frowned. "Maya?" Devin nodded. "Yeah. But get this. Maya's login was being accessed from 2 different locations at the same time. One from New York, one from Los Angeles. Nicki looked confused. So someone cloned her account? Exactly. Whoever's behind this has been controlling your entire digital footprint. Every transfer, every authorization, every password reset. They've been inside your system the whole time. Nicki sat back speechless. So even if I fired everyone, it wouldn't stop this. They've been one step ahead from the start. Devin leaned forward. You still got that USB? Yeah, she said. Good. Because I ran a trace on it. You're not gonna believe where it came from. Nicki raised an eyebrow. Where? Devin hesitated for a moment before saying it. It was mailed from your own recording studio. The same one you've been using for your new album. Nicki's blood ran cold. No way. There's more, Devin continued. The security footage from that night is gone. Wiped clean. Whoever did it had the access codes. Nicki stood up, pacing the room. That means it's someone who still works for me. Someone inside. She grabbed her phone and dialed Jamal. Meet me at the studio. Now. And don't tell anybody. An hour later, she arrived at the studio. Jamal was already there, looking nervous. He could tell from her tone earlier that this wasn't a friendly meeting. You said you wanted to see me? He asked quietly. Nicki nodded, her expression unreadable. Yeah, I need to know who else knew about this. Who else was in on it? Nobody, Jamal said quickly. I told you everything I know. Nicki looked at him closely. You sure about that? He hesitated for a moment too long. And that was enough. Nicki pulled out her phone and played the audio from the USB again. But this time, she didn't stop it after Ryan's voice. She let it play all the way through. After a few seconds, a second voice came in. Calm, confident, familiar. Make sure she doesn't find out until we get full control. Jamal will handle the small transactions. We'll make it look like internal theft. By the time she connects the dots, it'll be too late. Nicki's hand trembled slightly as she turned off the recording. She stared at Jamal, her eyes filled with disbelief. That's your voice. Jamal's face went pale. Nicki, please. Don't you dare lie to me again, she snapped. You were working with them this whole time. You acted like you were protecting me, but you were setting me up. Acted like you were protecting me, but you were setting me up. Jamal's eyes filled with tears. I didn't have a choice. They had everything. My debts, my contracts, my life. They said if I didn't help, I'd lose everything. Nicki shook her head slowly. So you thought betraying me was better? You thought I wouldn't find out? He dropped to his knees, his voice shaking. I'm sorry. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I was supposed to stop after the first transfer, but Ryan said the label wanted more proof that you couldn't manage your money. I didn't know they'd try to take your masters too. Nicki stepped back, trying to process it all. She wanted to scream, but instead she just whispered, "Get out!" Jamal looked up. Nicki, please. I said get out, she repeated louder this time. He stood slowly, tears streaming down his face, and walked toward the door. As he left, he turned back one last time. They're not done, Nick. Even if you expose them, they'll find another way. Nicki didn't answer. She waited until he was gone before collapsing into a chair, exhausted. The next few days were a blur. Lawyers were called. Contracts were reviewed. Devin and Nicki spent hours compiling every piece of evidence they could find. Every fake invoice, every transaction, every email thread. The deeper they looked, the uglier it got. This wasn't just about her money. This was a calculated attempt to ruin her name, to make her seem unhinged, so the label could legally control her assets. When the story finally broke, it was chaos. Every major blog, every gossip channel, every entertainment outlet ran the headline, Nicki Minaj exposes record label conspiracy after 25K theft scandal. The internet went insane. Fans flooded social media with messages of support. We told y'all she's always 10 steps ahead. They tried to break the queen, but she came back swinging. Nicki released a statement the following morning. To everyone who stood by me, thank you. To those who tried to play me, you played yourselves. Loyalty means everything to me, and when it's broken, I don't forgive easily. But I'm still standing, and I'm still the queen. The post broke records for engagement. Millions of likes, thousands of comments, and endless discussions about who was really behind the plot. But behind the glamour of social media, Nicki was still processing the pain. Her circle was smaller now, almost empty. Trina had disappeared. Maya had gone silent. Ryan was under legal investigation, and Jamal, well, she hadn't heard from him again. One night, as she sat alone in her living room, she looked at her reflection in the glass window and whispered, They tried to take everything, but they forgot one thing. I built this empire myself, and I'll rebuild it again. Just then, her phone buzzed. Another unknown number. She hesitated before opening the message. You won this round. But the game's not over. Nicki stared at it for a long time before setting the phone down. There was fear in her eyes, but also determination. She knew whoever was behind that message still had power. But so did she. The next day, she called Devin. I want full surveillance on everything. My accounts, my team, my studio. If someone even breathes near my name, I want to know. Devin chuckled. Already on it, boss. Nicki smiled faintly. Good. Because from now on, no more snakes in the palace. A few weeks later, she dropped a surprise freestyle on her social media. No announcement, no promo, just pure venom in every bar. She didn't mention names, but everyone knew what it was about. They tried to take my crown. But the crown don't slip, you can steal my bag. But I still won't trip betrayal from the fam. Fake love from the crew, but every time they fold, I just build something new. The freestyle went viral instantly. Fans called it her revenge anthem. Even other artists began showing support, sending her messages of solidarity. The same people who once doubted her were now standing behind her. And though the war with her label wasn't officially over, Nicki had already won the first battle. She had reclaimed her power. The truth was out. Her name was clear. And those who betrayed her were gone for good. Still, sometimes at night, when the house was quiet, she'd think about how quickly loyalty can turn into greed. She'd think about Trina, Maya, Ryan, Jamal, all the people she once called family. And she'd whisper to herself, never again. Because the queen had learned the hard way that in the kingdom of fame, even the brightest throne casts the darkest shadow. But no matter how dark it gets, Nicki Minaj would always rise again, stronger, sharper, and untouchable. And though the story had reached the world, somewhere deep in her phone, another unread message waited, a new mystery that would keep the Barbs guessing. But that's a story for another day. And just like that, the queen flipped the script once again. From betrayal to victory, from chaos to control, Nicki Minaj reminded the world why she's unstoppable. Her circle may have crumbled, her trust may have been tested, but her crown never moved an inch. The receipts were real, the snakes got exposed, and the queen stood tall, proving that loyalty isn't bought, it's earned. But the question everyone's still asking is, who sent that final message? You won this round, but the game's not over. Is someone still out there plotting against her? Is the label planning their next move? Or could it be someone even closer than we think? The mystery isn't over, and if we know anything about Nicki, it's that she never backs down from a fight. So what do you think, fam? Was this a calculated industry setup or just greed gone wild inside her own team? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the Barbs are already piecing together clues. Make sure you hit that like button if you're riding with the queen. Subscribe so you don't miss the next update in this wild saga. And turn on those notifications, because when the next chapter drops, you're gonna want to be the first to know. This story's far from over, and you already know. Nicki always has one more surprise up her sleeve. Stay tuned. Surprise up her sleeve. Stay tuned.